Morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session on avocado market access and the challenges that we face. And we would like to thank the Society of Crop Agribusiness Advisors for providing this platform to enable us, have this webinar, and also for SOCAA-SheTrades for allowing us also and giving us the opportunity to continue with the webinars that are surrounding good agricultural practices and market access for fresh produce. So today on the panel, we have Jen Musindi, Samuel Were, and Ernest Moudoumi, who are going to speak to us and just share the challenges they have encountered, especially when it comes to market access for avocados, and also what we should do as farmers to be able to access markets, especially when you're talking about export markets. Karibuni. We'll start with Were, then go to Jen, and then Ernest if he's already joined us. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Samuel Were, my name's specialist in crop protection and agronomy, and I'm passionate about sustainable production of produce. Last week we had started, Teresa, are we doing the introductions or are we going straight to the presentations, I guess?
Just the introductions first. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll stop at that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jen Musindi. I am not new to this platform, so welcome again. I'm happy to share with everyone my experiences with post-harvest handling of avocado. I am passionate about standards and regulations, and my belief is that you cannot market your product without following the set out standards and regulations. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
I haven't seen Ernest Moudoumi, but once he joins in, we'll let him introduce himself and also tell us what he does, and especially that he plays a very important role at the Association for Society for Avocados in Kenya. So we'll go straight into the presentations. Dr. Were, karibu.
You're muted.
Thank you. Last week we had looked at avocado production, and we did have some questions that came up, and had to go also prod about the same and be able to bring up us up to speed about the same. One of the issues was concerning how to know about registered nursery farms. And for this, as we had spoken last week, the current way of undertaking and knowing this is to be able to get the list from HCD, Horticultural Crops Directorate, and currently they haven't put it up on the website, and they are currently working on that. And also just to be able, it's good to visit the different nurseries and ascertain about their registration, both for HCD as well as for KEPIs and county government requirements. The other aspect, so for the code, currently there is no short code that is used to be able to ascertain those nurseries that have been certified. For the mapping, this is also something that is ongoing, and currently maybe just to bring people up to speed, the production areas and the traditional production areas being Moranga, Machakos. We currently have areas like Meru, Kirinyaga, we have Kakamega, Wasungishu has come in, Trans Nzoia is coming in, and other areas like this in the South Rift, that is Bomet, that are also coming in with the production of avocado. Into today's production, because I think those were the two main aspects that resulted in last week. Into today's production, if I may try and share my screen. All right. I hope you can be able to see the screen.
Yes, we can. Could you please put it in presentation mode? Thank you.
And on harvesting, it is important to note that avocado need to be mature and before they are harvested. And many people may confuse about maturity and ripening, though this may mean the same thing when describing the fruit. It is important to note that when we are talking about maturity, we are looking at the best, rather that stage whereby the commodity is at a sufficient stage of development and it's acceptable to the ultimate consumer. And this will include about the sizes and the taste. For maturity, can also be described as the attainment of particular size and stage after which they have attained that size and stage ripening may take place. There are two main types of maturity which are distinguishable. We have the physiological maturity and we have the commercial or horticultural maturity. Harvesting of avocado may start around 3 years to 4 years from planting. But for you to obtain optimum and continuous yields, these may come at around the 6th year onwards. That's when the tree will be producing at its optimum level. The produce also, to produce best qualities, it is important to ensure that avocado is harvested at the right size and to be able to have the right color, and it has to be done at the right maturity stage. Basically, in Kenya, we have the period of harvesting avocado between April and September, and HCD has tried to ensure that these are actually followed mainly for the purposes of protecting our markets outside the country, because when we export avocado that have not properly matured, then it affects their organoleptic tests, and also they become leathery and losing foreign income to the country. The avocado, the fruits may be ready for harvesting 5 to 10 months after flowering, which is dependent mainly on the variety and ecological conditions of the region, the temperatures, the rainfall levels, yes, can be able to influence the time of maturity. It's also important to note that harvesting of the fruit should be done in the mornings when it is cool, and thereafter to ensure the fruit is cooled rapidly so as to promote the quality of the shelf life, which my colleague will be talking about later on today. And maturity indices are important when deciding that a given fruit should be harvested. And it is important to know that we have different maturity indices, and also important to know that avocado will only, the fruit will only start ripening after it has been plucked or picked from the tree. And therefore, one of the ways probably farmers may be feeling at a loss that they have not sold their avocado, but if the avocado still remains on the tree, this avocado may not ripen. However, it may be affected in areas that there is too much wind blowing, then the avocado fruit may be blown off and cause injury to the skin of the fruit. However, at the same time, it's important to notice that we do not need to prolong storage of avocado onto the tree simply because prolonged stay on the tree may affect the subsequent season, the production for the subsequent season, because the tree will have overworked by feeding and sustaining the fruits that are on that particular tree. The variety and the producer country concerns can also be taken into consideration to judge the optimum stage of maturity. And when we are talking about the optimum stage of maturity here, we are not talking about premature, but the country of production may opt to have its fruits at a particular size and a particular color. Then useful information on maturity can be obtained from visual appraisals, such as fruit weight and diameter, the number of days after flowering, which is important and critical for people to understand the time for harvesting, but these are not sometimes, however, accurate. Therefore, it is important to observe some maturity indices, which I've tried to bring about some of the maturity indices that we'll be looking at, one of them being the fruit skin color. This can be an indicator of maturity, and it is applicable to fruits that change color at maturity. For instance, some fruits may be, which are dark colored varieties, they may turn from green to a dark color, either brown at maturity. Green color varieties may not benefit so much from the skin color change, but they may have some development of pocky spots and yellow tint to the skin and or the stem, which may indicate maturity. For example, Fuerte variety, the fruits may remain green after maturation, but the glossy shine on the fruit will disappear, and the skin is normally smooth at the blossom end. At the blossom at the end of the fruit, it ends up being smooth. For Hass variety, the fruits may end up turning green to purple, and the skin gets a little bit rougher and cocky, like spots may appear on the peels. Assessment of correct harvesting times, it is important, as it directly influences or affects the quality of the fruit and the storage of the storage life of the fruit as well. And harvesting of the fruit before reaching optimum point or optimal maturity can lead to deficient ripening, and the quality of the fruit will be affected. And on the other hand, after by affecting the quality of the fruit, the harvest of the fruit is carried out after optimum point, and post-harvest life can be diminished if it is not harvested at the right and required time. Methods of determining maturity indices in harvesting, there are those that can be basically used by our day-to-day growers. One of them, for example, being floating method, whereby fruits are immersed, you pluck some fruits and you immerse them in water, and those that float when immersed in water is a sign of that particular avocado being mature. The immature avocados will end up sinking below the surface of the water. There is the sample room temperature method. Here you just harvest the avocados and determine and leave them at room temperature to determine whether they are ready for harvest. Between 7 and 10 days, if without shriveling, then the fruits at that age are ready for harvesting. But when you find they're ending up shriveling, then it indicates that they are premature. Other methods that are a bit more advanced currently that are in use, we have the dry matter testing, which involves the testing of the oil content in the avocado and the dry matter in the avocado, as well as the use of the near-infrared spectroscopy, which may be beyond the reach of some of our growers. Under the determining of the dry matter content, you'll find it is correlated with the oil content, and the dry matter should be at least 20%, and the oil content should not be less than 8%. Rather, it should be greater than 8%. Appraisal of the stage of maturity must be done by looking also at the enzyme activity of the avocado, the electrical conductivity of the avocado, or aromatic compounds can also be tested, as well as the organoleptic tests, just the test of the avocado fruit itself. Finally, this is just a sample of the avocado harvesting periods from HCD. This has been developed from HCD, and as you may realize, just recently, sometime last week, they have stopped harvesting of avocado in mostly Fuerte and Hass avocado, that their season has been closed. And this matrix just tries to show what HCD has developed as
Hello, did we lose you, Sammy? Hi, Jen, maybe you can take over before we are able to get back Sammy online.
Nekesa, it may be difficult since he's still sharing. I'll not be able to share my document.
Jen, maybe you can take over. Winnie, can you be able to yeah, okay. So Jen, you can at least go ahead, please, before Were comes back. Thank you. We apologize for that internet hitch. And as Jen is logging in and sharing her screen, we would like to encourage you to post your questions on the Q&A section so that we can keep answering them. And in the meantime, we also thank Society for Crop Agribusiness Advisors and ITC-SheTrades for enabling this webinar to take place. Thank you. Karibu, Jen.
Thank you, Nekesa. At this point, we shall start speaking about post-harvest handling of the avocado. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We've seen farmers mainly when they're harvesting the avocado, they tend to send a few boys up the tree. They throw down the fruit is heaped under the tree, and then it is then put into pickup trucks and then transported to the pack house. That is the current practice. And for lack of a better description, that is where our main problem occurs. The farmer has done everything right until harvesting, and then we lose it all during the post-harvest handling of the avocado. So at this point, we shall look at the best ways to handle the avocado and why that is recommended. So my colleague had spoken about shelf life, and shelf life is a period in which a product should maintain the predetermined level of quality under specified storage conditions. It's good to note that avocados don't ripen on the tree. They will ripen after harvest. So therefore, they will continue respiring even after harvest. And the ripening process commences immediately because they're climacteric fruits and they have very high respiration rates after they have been harvested. Pre-harvest factors such as ambient field temperature and water stress mainly affect the post-harvest physiology of the avocado fruit. There are some treatments that are applied to reduce that reduce the respiration rates, which would be, we have pre-packaging treatments, which we shall look at later in this presentation. We have packaging films that are applied, but with Kenya, Films are mainly plastic, so it is discouraged that we use single-use plastic films. Storage conditions, especially where temperature is concerned. And then, of course, there's the pre-wash and there's also the waxing, which we shall get into. And out of all this, after the harvesting stage, temperature was found to have the greatest influence on the post-harvest quality of the avocado fruit after harvest. So it is important to maintain an optimum temperature after the fruit has been harvested to make sure that the fruit is stored longer. Please remember that we export avocados, so it needs to be stored for the duration of the transportation. It is better if it is maybe on air freight, where then the storage period is not required to be too long, and the fruit can be shipped when the ripening has begun. But most of our product goes by sea. Now, by sea, it means that it has to remain under optimal conditions for about 3 to 4 weeks before it has been cleared on the other side. So it is important to make sure that we are giving the fruit enough ammunition to make sure that it retains its quality even during shipping and storage. So what pre-harvest factors affect avocado quality? So I had mentioned that shelf life is affected by respiration, which is the natural, every living organism respires, and respiration is basically where organic materials are broken down into end products. Oxygen is taken in, carbon dioxide is liberated, and then there's energy in front of heat. So when you harvest the avocado and put it in a heap, remember we have said these are climacteric fruits with very high respiration rates once it's cut off from the tree. So you've put it in a heap, it is continuing to produce this heat because again, it's respiring at a very high rate. If it continues being in that heap for a long time, then you can imagine how that fruit gets to the pack house. It's already affected. The shelf life is already reduced by a significant amount of time. So to improve handling of avocados once harvested, it is essential to lower the respiration rates by reducing the temperature. Then that is cold storage, basically. Then increasing carbon dioxide and reducing oxygen. This limits respiration, which then is referred to controlled as atmosphere environment. Mostly this is done within Kenya. The people who ship avocados will be familiar with the containers, the shipping containers that avocados use. So those containers are specific for avocados and they have controlled atmosphere environment within them. So the main pre-harvest factors, we had said ambient heat exposure. There are studies, many studies have been carried out on avocado. It has been found that avocados exposed to high ambient temperature during growth, during field, demonstrated a high tolerance to low post-harvest temperatures and external chilling injury. So basically what it is saying is, if the avocados were grown in a hotter area, they will tolerate lower temperatures. And we know that if you store avocados at less than 1 degree for a long time, which can happen in a shipping container, they will experience chilling injury. Or if you put it in a cold room where the air circulation is not uniform, parts of that avocado will get chilling injury. And chilling injury characterized by brown, my colleague had gone through it before, brown sunken watery lesions on the fruit. So this will not apply to already harvested avocados. Once it's harvested, it has to be protected from direct sunlight, one, to avoid overheating, and then it has to be put in a cold room. So sun-exposed fruit showed a higher endurance to chilling industry when stored at 0 degrees for periods between 3 to 6 weeks. So that is why, again, we believe that Kenya and basically our climate is optimal for avocado production. And then water stress. Many people don't realize that avocado goes through water stress. Studies have shown that pre-harvest water stress results in premature fruit fall, where we've seen farmers complaining that their tree produced, but the fruit fell off. So basically, it's either nutrition or water. And then once you stress this fruit tree, it starts to produce ethylene. The ethylene goes up. So basically, the tree decides it needs to die. It's time for it to go into senescence. So that's why it aborts the fruits or the flowers. Any productive area will be aborted. So and then whatever is dropping, we've seen some small purple fruits falling off the tree, and then they ripen. And they're not to the optimal size. That is some degree of water stress, due to some degree of water stress. And then water stress decreased the normal avocado ripening time. So the avocado time, instead of taking, say, if it's supposed to ripen in 3-4 days, it will ripen in maybe 1 day. The period for ripening is reduced, and therefore shelf life is also reduced. And then water stress reduces the internal quality of the avocado due to increased activity of polyphenol oxidase. This one is an enzyme that causes browning of the flesh. So you cut the avocado and you find it is browning very fast, or it's already browning. And then lower concentrations of calcium are found in water-stressed fruits, resulting in high incidence of physiological orders. These are disorders that occur when you handle the fruit. For example, if it is dropped on the ground, it will bruise very easily. And then at that point of bruising, then either rots will come in, or the fruit will be, the quality will be reduced. Then water stress has avocado, this is just a by the way, were found to bear more elongated fruit. Nobody has explained this, because a Hass avocado is almost roundish. It's oval, but tending towards round. If you find it is elongated, then this tree is undergoing some water stress. So in summary, the pre-harvest factors affecting avocado shelf life is the climate or environment. So it leads to increased disease incidence, chilling injury. We've talked about the heat. And then pruning, the management is pruning to expose the fruit to direct sunlight. Rootstock or sun choice. Some of them are susceptible to physiological disorders during cold chain or post-harvest decay. So choose one that is proven to have not to be less susceptible to these disorders. And then make sure you prune regularly, because if you don't prune, then there's a lot of vegetation that shades the tree. The sunlight will not get into the tree, and therefore the fruit will have reduced shelf life. Pest and disease management, again, once disease gets into the fruit, pests get into the fruit. Right now we have a problem with FCM, false codling moth. It hasn't been a problem until now. I think it was more of a problem in mango, but now we are seeing it in avocado. So maintain a clean orchard and correct application of chemicals. And then plant nutrition, the balance between nitrogen and calcium. If you put too much nitrogen, which then the CAN that you want your tree to produce more, then you're reducing the shelf life, because too much vegetative growth will reduce fruit development, and that fruit will not have too long a shelf life. It will be too watery. Then if you're using plant growth regulators, some of them cause, again, the tree will produce, but then the fruit will have poor storage ability. And then irrigation, we've talked about water stress. So when we come to harvesting, we had said that avocados do not ripen on the fruit. So the time at which the avocados are harvested plays an important role. If you harvest too early, then as my colleague said, it will not achieve the required dry matter or oil content, so which is associated with regular ripening. Again, we've seen that HCD has restricted the harvesting period now for Hass and Fuerte. This is the reason most of our destination markets have been complaining that our product is not ripening, or it is ripening irregularly. And then there's watery texture. They claim it's, you know how you eat an avocado and then you say it's maji-maji, it has no taste. It shrivels quite quickly because, again, due to the high water content, the water is lost very fast. Respiration is very high. Then inside the fruit, you'll find it blackened. And then even on the fruit rind, you'll find there's some black marks. There'll be a low oil concentration, and yet avocados are grown for their oil content, and there'll be higher susceptibility to decay. And then studies have shown that harvesting at 21 to 24% dry matter leads to higher cumulative and average yield on fuerte. And then if you keep it on the crop, the way my colleague said, you want to have it at 30% dry matter, your yields will be reduced by 26%. And then it leads to alternate bearing, as in you won't get the optimal, you can't now program when your production will come in. For the Hass variety, there's 25% to 30% dry matter, which is optimal. If you delay to 35%, again, you're reducing your yields. Picking avocados when it's wet, it should be avoided because it will be susceptible to cold injury, pulp spot, and lentil damage. This occurs when you cut your avocado, you find there are blackish strings within the avocado. So that means it was harvested when wet. Fruit harvested in the morning or late afternoon tend to have less field heat, and it is recommended. Color, size, or oil content generally serve as indications as to the most appropriate time for harvesting. My colleague has gone through this. And then post-harvest disorders increase with increase in storage time and temperature. If you store for too long, again, you're encouraging the fruit to be susceptible to post-harvest disorders. Then we come to pre-packaging treatments. This is we will start with heat treatment, which is something new. Because of the fruit fly, there are very many studies going on now about how to introduce heat treatments to the mango and to the avocado. Now, this will come in significantly going forward because, again, if you look at the amount of avocado that is programmed to come in the next 2 to 3 years, it is very high. Therefore, avocado fruit will be a main host plant for FCM. So heating avocados at 38 degrees for 24, 48, and 72 hours, which is 1, 2, and 3 days, improve the appearance, which I found surprising, but these are studies that have been proven, and reduce the effects of chilling injury. Because again, the heat treatment will be necessary because the chilling will be carried out so that any insects that are within the fruit do not survive the treatment. So the heat treatment is done fast for about 2 to 3 days. And then it delays ethylene production with no change in respiration. There's no change in weight loss. And then it leads to an improved shelf life. Again, as I said, to address the attack of insect pests, there'll be cold disinfection. The fruit will be placed in 1 degree for 16 days. This can be done during transit. So the 16 days can be occurring when the fruit is already on the when the fruit is already on the
you have 5 minutes, yeah.
Shipping container. Yes, Nakesa?
Mm-hmm. You have 5 minutes to go.
So to alleviate the onset of chilling injury, heating the avocados for various durations as shown above, the temperature regimes are applied. And water is the preferred medium for most temperature treatments, thermal applications, because it covers the fruit efficiently, transferring more heat than air. If you use air, there's chance that it may be too dry because it's heat. And then there's a chance that it will not be uniformly covered on the fruit. And then we have post-harvest coatings. there's usually a fungicidal wash when the product gets to the pack house, just before it is waxed. So the fungicidal wash controls post-harvest diseases like anthracnose and stem end rot that my colleague had covered last week. Waxes, they address the challenge of water loss due to the impermeability. They make the skin, after the washing, you need to cover the skin back with a wax coating, because remember, you've washed off some of the natural coating of the fruit, making it susceptible to high respiration rates. And then waxing allows for water retention, increasing turgidity, and maintaining fruit weight for longer periods. Please remember that this goes hand in hand with temperature management. And then when you come to packaging, there is various methods of packaging depending on what fruit, what market you're targeting. We are used to the one on the right, which is just sending in the boxes to the wholesale market. But when it gets there, the supermarkets repackage it in sphere storage. It will be stored. It's what goes into the container when we are shipping wholesale product in those boxes. So that one is controlled in bigger volume than the MAP packaging. So storage parameters, temperature again is the single most important factor. If it is too low, then it will result into injury. If it is higher than optimal, the shelf life is reduced because the fruit will start ripening faster. So theoretically, for every 10 degrees increase in temperature, a resultant doubling in the rate of respiration occurs. This is 4 to 5 degrees, and other varieties, including Fuerte, is 6 to 8 degrees centigrade. There is also a consideration for relative humidity, because if it is too dry, there'll be very high evaporation from the fruit. So you need to maintain a relative humidity of about 85 to 90%. So quality parameters, avocado is assessed on changes in skin color, had alluded to, firmness, pH, total titratable acid, percentage dry matter oil content, weight loss, flavor, and marketable quality. For the fresh product, we mainly deal with changes in skin color, firmness, and percentage dry matter. Where the product is then used for industrial purposes, they will check the pH, the acid, weight loss, flavor, and generally all of it lead to total marketable quality. Uses of avocado, apart from the fresh consumption as a fruit and fresh fruit drinks or mixes of drinks, we use avocado in the confection of baked products like cakes. It can be used to thicken soups and as appetizers, you mash it. And then the production of cosmetics, this is the biggest one due to the oil content. Avocado oil is appreciated. Avocado oil is appreciated because it contains biodegradable and easy to absorb oil, sterol. So the oil usually, the market sends it to the US, you can imagine, where it is refined and then sent to Japan and to the EU as edible oil and cosmetic ingredient. So I'm not sure what our industry partners will say about this one, because then that means we are limited in what we can do here. Maybe we can only do raw avocado oil as a byproduct. And then besides being an important cosmetic ingredient, the pharmaceutical industry also gets, there's something that they get from it called factor H, which is then used in pet food and cooking oil industry. So types of avocado products, there's frozen avocado. I think we had the first shipment last year sometime. And then we have avocado sauces, which is mixtures of sauces. We have guacamole, which is a blend of avocado. It's used as a dip. And then we have non-refined avocado oil, which is used for mechanical processes. So points to note for a farmer, you cannot just grow your product and say the exporter will sort out the rest of the problems. You need to know your product. You need to know what your product is used for so that you know how to optimally produce your avocado. As I said, if you don't say take your irrigation seriously, simple matter of irrigation, then you are affecting the end product of the end process of your product. And then in another 3 years, you'll start saying you have no market for your product, yet it started on the farm. So please know your product. Adhere to the required standards. If the market requires you to follow a certain chemical regime, a certain way to manage your pests, chemical is not the only way. There are many cultural methods to control insect pests. Please follow them. It is important to know how to brand your product. Everybody talks about, right now, it may not be a good example, but everybody thinks Kakuzi product is the best. But we know that Kakuzi also buys from smallholder farmers. So branding actually helps you differentiate your product from others, so that when others are being told your product is not good, at least they'll say that particular brand has a difference. And then you need to belong to an industry association. You need to know which industry associations are relevant for you, which one will serve you, and be a member. Because remember, there's safety in numbers. You can do a lot as a group as opposed to one particular farmer. Nekesa, at this point, I'd like to stop and then maybe invite some questions. Thank you. Nekesa? Ricky.
Okay, thank you, Jen. We seem to have lost Nekesa temporarily, but we will invite Dr. Were just to finish his presentation, even as we acknowledge Ernest Moudoumi from Avocado Society of Kenya, who will also give us insights from the market access in terms of the issues that are related challenges. So Samuel, are you able to continue with the balance of your presentation?
Oh, yes, Ricky. I don't know what point I had reached before I was taken to Siberia.
I believe you were concluding on the maturity indices, if I'm not wrong, and the ways for checking maturity. You had completed with the basic checks for maturity. You were talking about the more advanced checks for maturity.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Great. So we were looking at the different advanced methods where we talked about the dry matter testing, which my colleague Jen has well elaborated about it. And another important one.
Your screen?
Pardon?
Your screen, your presentation, please share it.
All right. Okay, let me share that. Ricky, can you see the screen now?
Not yet.
Oh, all right. I'm on 2. That's why I'm wondering why I can't be seen. Saying share. All right. You have it on your end, don't you?
We're putting it up.
Oh, thank you. Because I don't know why it's not picking up. Could you be having it, Ricky?
Yes, so your presentation is coming up, just a minute, but as you wait for it, Jen, maybe you could just answer, there's a question there. What are the top 3 or 4 limiting factors to why we can't process here direct to markets? I don't know if you've answered that question already, Jen.
Not yet. I can do that now. There may not be 3 or 4, but the biggest one is that we don't have enough.
Jen, sorry, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest problem is that we don't have enough raw material to do fresh exports and to do processing. I know there's a lady who had opened a processing factory in Thika. And with the assumption that with all the avocado that goes rotting on the roads, we should get enough to do processing. But that was not the right quality for processing. The reason it's thrown is that maybe because it was not harvested optimally or it is the wrong variety. So the first problem is that we don't have enough product, and that is the biggest one. In another 2 to 3 years, when all these plantings come about, then maybe we'll have enough, a lot more to process, but that we will wait to see. But again, we need to take care of our production so that by the time it hits the market, the only problem is that there is market constraints, not because there's a quality issue. And even if there's a quality issue, it should be that they are almost too ripe, not disease, not pest infestation. The second one would be, and I believe the industry guys will lend some information to this. We may need to look at what policies, the trade policies that are around avocados, because I can see that most people send avocado oil to the US for refining. So maybe we are again restricted to having the raw product. And again, I know raw product, unless it is produced from product that cannot be used in the fresh, it does not give too much return on investment. Let me put it that way. So we need to look at the trade policies around refining avocado oil or the other products that we can produce with avocados. And then you have things like guacamole, which again, we are not used to here, but in South America, where they grow a lot of avocado, they have looked for ways to use this product in several other ways. They are the ones who came up with the guacamole dips. So they mix the avocado as a base for many other mixes. They put in our kachumbari, they put it in the avocado paste, and they produce guacamole, and which they use to dip all their snacks. So we need to look at the policies around trade, and we also need to, which the Avocado Society is doing a lot of, publicize the product and the various other products we can get from it. Thanks, Ricky.
Thanks, Jen. Samuel, please just proceed, yeah? We are trying to load your presentation. It's just taking a bit of time, but please proceed.
I'm saying, hello, Ricky, I'm saying it is a short, they're just 2 slides that were remaining. And
okay.
one of them, we were just finalizing on the different aromatic tests, the different tests we were talking about, the different matrices. That is the second last, if we could go to the second last. And here we are talked about looking at also electrical conductivity. And when you're looking at the electrical conductivity, mainly the electrical conductivity will be, next one, Ricky. Electrical conductivity mainly will be for those that are being used for commercial purposes or industrial purposes. Then there are aromatic compounds that can be tested. These aromatic compounds are for purposes of the aromatic compounds are for the purposes of cosmetic requirements. Those are the ones which will be used. And finally, the organoleptic tests. These are just tests that people will conduct to see how the avocado tastes once it has ripened. And finally, I'd gone to avocado harvesting plan. If you may move ahead, Ricky. Here we were looking at the different times when avocado is harvested. And as I was saying at the beginning, we didn't have the mapping because HCD is still undertaking the mapping of areas where avocado is being produced. But these are the main production areas, and HCD, this is courtesy of HCD, this planning. It is a matrix that indicates when we are allowed to harvest, like where there is a tick is approved for harvesting. And this has come into play, one, I must say, probably because of our own indiscipline. And so for instead of losing the whole market out, their HCD has come up with a structured method to close out the market so that people do not end up harvesting unripe fruits. And as you see, there are different periods of harvesting in different regions. As we had said, this is actually due to various agroecological agroecological parameters and the variety that you are looking at. Finally, if we can go to the last slide, Ricky, which is just talking about observing and keeping records, are some of the two important things on a farm. They're essential to ensure that we plan our farms well, and also it helps us to succeed in this business of avocado. It's very important that we note that without proper understanding of the records, we have to understand the records and keep the records. We may not be able to succeed because we will not be able to look back at what we did and also to plan ahead at what we require. Some of the records that we need to ensure that we maintain are field operation records for pruning and thinning, weeding, fertilizer application records, plant protection products application records. We need to have an inventory of our consumables that are fertilizers, plant protection products, as well as also looking at having marketing records to understand where you are hoping to obtain your market and where you're going. Another important record is the master roll, just to undertake to know the number of people you are using on your farm, and to be able to understand whether you are able to break even and if it is sustainable to continue doing this business. Thank you. Actually, it was a short portion that was remaining, and thank you so much. I think that's it for now. Thanks, Ricky. Back.
Thank you very much, Dr. Were. And maybe as we move on to Ernest Moudoumi, a quick question in terms of what you've just shared, and I think this also relates to the last session and your presentation. Are you able to confirm? We have a question about production of Hass avocados in Kinangop, whether that area is okay for Hass avocado, because you did speak about the difference in altitudes and looking at the different varieties of avocado. So that was a very specific question. Maybe you could just comment on that.
Yes, Hass should be able to grow in those areas because, as you may have realized, we indicated Hass could be able to perform in those areas around 2,100 meters above sea level. And that's an area Hass can be, the farmers can be able to produce that variety comfortably. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. So I want to invite Ernest Moudoumi, who is the CEO of Avocado Society of Kenya, to share some sentiments in terms of the market opportunities and even in response to questions that have been coming through in the last session. How exactly is it that the industry associations are helping farmers to tap into these opportunities, given the way the sector is still pretty much smallholder dominated, and with a shift to medium to large growers? We have growers who wonder what they're going to do with the trees that are coming into production in the next year or so, and are not sure of how exactly to go about it. Jen explained very well the different options for avocado product, but the route or the means to reaching that is still seemingly a challenge. So, Ernest Moudoumi, please introduce yourself and respond to that overall statement in terms of market, optimizing market access. Karibu. He's dropped off. Ernest, is Ernest Moudoumi?
Ernest is not on the list.
Okay, let us try and get him back. I'm not sure what the problem was. He was on the, yeah, apologies to our participants. We seem to have lost Ernest Moudoumi. As we try and just trace him back, Dr. Were, we have a question from one of the participants.
Yes,
and this is with regards to the table that you shared. The question is, does it give more specifics in terms, or rather, can we get more specific information additional to what was shared on the table from HCD in terms of those areas where the harvesting periods were indicated, which varieties? Are you able to comment on that? And thank you, Rachel Wambua, for indicating your presence. So maybe Dr. Were, you can comment on that, and then we'll have a representative from Avocado Society of Kenya.
Great. Thanks, Ricky. The table I shared is basically a table HCD has prepared mainly for Hass and Fuerte varieties. Those are the ones that are having that period of when they close the market for these two varieties, mostly because these are the varieties that people tend to harvest before they are ripened due to competition and increased pricing. But the other varieties actually are not closed out at those particular periods, but these ones, the table was just indicating the periods of harvesting or production. It does not indicate the quantities that are harvested. For quantities, probably we'll need also to look further to be able to establish what quantities come from the different areas. So that the information on quantities for different areas at the moment I didn't have, but that one was just to indicate the duration, the times of harvesting, to ensure we harvest mature fruits. And I think this is something we brought upon ourselves because we cannot be trusted to not to harvest when the fruit is ripe. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to invite Rachel Wambua from Avocado Society of Kenya on behalf of her colleague, Ernest Moudoumi. Rachel, I think you already had, even in the closing remarks from Dr. Were, the challenge there with the reputation of avocado quality out there, and also seemingly the fact that we're not exploiting other variations of the product in the market because we don't have the quantities to be more competitive. Could you please give us some highlights in terms of what the Avocado Society of Kenya is doing in that space, and how exactly growers can go about utilizing the opportunity or the presence of value chain commodity bodies like yours to overcome these challenges? Karibu, Rachel.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel, working at Avocado Society of Kenya. I am grateful that I have got this chance to say what we do as a society. And maybe as an introduction, Avocado Society of Kenya is an association for farmers, exporters, and other value chain players who are involved in the avocado agribusiness in Kenya. So what we do is specific for each of our members, and especially for the farmers. What we are doing is the agronomy support, mostly the remote guidance of the farmers on what they need to do, especially now from the farming, how to do the orchard layout, how to do the planting, the size of the alts and everything that they need to do to improve their soils. We are also helping the farmers on how to manage their farms in terms of what to put, how to prune, and or what they need to do depending on the problem of each farmer uniquely, because they'll be different. So also for the farmers, we also connect them to the market, that is to the exporters, and some of our members also doing export on themselves. And on most cases, we impress on the quality, that is the farmers to be able to get the best size of the avocado, and also that is clean and a premium fruit for that matter. And based on this, we do trainings, both online and also the physical training. Like in the last few months, we've had 2 or 3 online trainings for the farmers and also exporters on things like agronomy support and also the KS17. And right now, we are also organizing a physical training and a farm tour for the farmers. And this is basically to show the farmers how to really do the farming, like from the nursery to the farm to everything that they need to do, and also a bit on the pack house, that they may be able to know the quality of the fruit that they are looking for. And in addition to that, for the farmers, we also do the audits, that is to certify their farms to be able to ensure that they are doing the correct farming. If it's organic farming, then it's a pure organic farming. Yeah, so that is what we've been doing. And for the exporters, we help them with the licensing, like how to be able to get their license to be able now to move the fruits from Kenya to the outside world, and also do the training on what they need to do. Yeah, I think that is all, not unless there is any other question from the group. Okay.
Thank you, Rachel. We have Nekesa back with us. So Rachel, please hold on. I think we're going into the more detailed Q&A session as we head towards the end of this particular session. And there's a lot of interest definitely to seeing the value from industry associations. So my colleague Nekesa Wafula will continue with the Q&A session. And thank you again for being with us, Rachel.
Thank you, Ricky. Yeah, thank you, Ricky, and thank you for sitting in. We had a small hitch here where I'm presenting from. So just looking at the presentations that were made, if when you're talking about the certified nurseries, I know Dr. Were, you've mentioned this, and it's of concern that probably the list is not yet up on the KEFI's website. Could you please let us know how soon we can have this list up? Because this is quite critical when you're looking at the number of people selling seedlings and claiming that they are Hass avocados or Fuerte. Then it becomes of interest when farmers buy and they are concerned about the output, actually the final product that comes out of these seedlings. How soon can we have this on the KEFI's website? And then also when it comes to vetting of these nurseries, how do you go about it and especially for those who are getting into say registration of the nurseries for growing these seedlings for avocados and other fruit trees. Then when you're talking about the maturity indices that you've shared, are farmers aware of these indicators that you've shared? And if they're not aware, how does this information get out to the farmers? Maybe we'll take that before I go to Jen. Dr. Were.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. First of all, those registered nurseries will be posted on the HCD website and not KEFI's website. Having a chat with the manager RNC, they are working towards publishing that. But currently, the best option for farmers is to be able just to request the nursery owners to provide a registration certificate. That is one of the best mechanisms at the moment. Before they provide those that are registered on their website, we can be able also to be proactive and ask the nursery owners, notwithstanding we know in Kenya whereby we can get certificates all over, but it is important to be able to find a certificate from HCD recognizing that particular nursery, and then request also to see a KEFI's certificate, which indicates that this nursery has been inspected and approved that it is free of pests and diseases. And finally, the county government should have recognized that particular nursery. So there are three certificates that these nurseries should actually have in place. About maturity indices, some farmers may be aware about these maturity indices. However, they may not be putting them mostly into play, knowing that our avocado value chain mainly is encompassed, it's rather having quite a number of people. You'll find maybe a broker who's interested in not having a good product, or let me use a better name, the middleman. Let's not use the broker, let's use the middleman, because they're also important in the value chain. The middlemen may come and they're interested in the product to go and sell, not because it's mature, but they want the product, just the volumes. So it is important for also farmers to be aware and to be trained. And that's why I had my colleague Jen saying that it's important. One of the take home is that farmers should be able to get into associations. And once they are in associations that fits them, it can help them to obtain this information and knowledge. So there is training gap that is out there that the farmers need actually to be trained on the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Were. I think that's very key. So for our listeners, please note those three certificates that are required for a nursery to be established and buy from a certified nursery. And we look out for the HCD website so that we can be able to see the list of published nurseries. When we are talking about pre-packaging treatments, Jen, how affordable are these? You know, I was looking at how you're saying putting the avocado in water at 38 degrees for 24, 72 hours. Who exactly does this when you're looking at the value chain? Is it the farmer who is harvesting? Can the farmer actually invest in this in this kind of technology so that they can be able to get a good product into the market, or who exactly invests in this, and how affordable are these pre-packaging treatment? Yeah.
Thanks, Nekesa. These are not very affordable technologies for smallholder farmers. That we know for sure. If we also look at the frozen avocado campaign, that also is not very affordable for farmers individually. But there's a way, in Kenya, we are very famous for the cooperative movement. Farmers can come together and look for assistance to set up some of these technologies, because this is the technologies of the future. Where we lie as a country is the climate is very conducive to most of these problems. And the reason some of these technologies are coming in is to prevent us from being locked out of the market because of existence of some of these pests in our product. So we can't run away from it. So the only way we can save ourselves, because remember, there's a lot of avocado now coming in plantations. Many exporters have planted a lot of avocado. So for the smallholder farmer to be able to compete in this market, they also need to look like the big exporters. They come together, form a large production, a uniform production area, and then look for assistance on how to access some of these technologies. And I know there are very many people that are willing to give assistance for these technologies to be set up, especially to uplift smallholder farmer. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. And to Rachel Wambua, you've mentioned that you manage farmers through the Society for Avocado of Kenya. This is Avocado Society of Kenya, that's ASOC. When you're talking about training to this farmer, what kind of training do you offer? Because you've seen there's so many issues. When we talk about avocado, there are so many issues. If we get rejected avocados that are supposed to go for export, then they end up on our tables in the local market. Are you just looking at the export market in terms of training, or you're also looking at the local market? And when the training is being offered, is it a paid training? And if it's or is it free when it comes to your members or to the public in general? And if at all it's not free, what is the cost? Is it something that farmers do as a group or as individuals? And also maybe you can touch on a little bit about the issues that have come up in the avocado sector when it comes to the human rights activities that have been surrounding the avocado sector, causing a ban of some of our avocados in the European market. Maybe you can just comment on that, and what is your role as in that kind of case that is happening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll start with the first question, which is about the contents of the training that we give to the farmers. And most of our trainings are basically tailored for if it's for the farmers, then it's tailored towards the agronomy. That is, for example, for the physical trainings, most of the time we do a short theory and then followed by a physical, like a showing of the farmers on the skills on what to do on their farms. So basically, it depends on what we are doing. If we are at a nursery, we show the farmers how to do the irrigation of the seedlings. If it is at the farm, how to do the irrigation, how to do the pruning, depending on where we are. If it is at handling, like to show the farmers how to cut the final course of the avocado so that we will not remove completely, which will now make the avocado maybe to go bad easily. So we show them physically how to handle the avocado during the harvesting, and also how to handle their trees on the farm, as well as the pruning. Some of our trainings are free and others are paid up. For the ones that are free, in case we are able to get a sponsor, maybe to cover up the logistics, then we give the training free of charge. An example is the one that we did in August online. That was a free training. And we also had a physical training that was done, sponsored by the Israel Embassy. That was also in September. But the one that is upcoming, that one is not sponsored, so the farmers will be paying for the training. And for our members, we are giving at a subsidized price, that is at 7,000. These are trainings that we normally do at 10,000 or 12,500. So for our members, they get that subsidy. I think that's about the training. Specifically for the 27th, the cost will be 7,000 for those who will be interested to come. And we'll start at Unicity Mall, which is next to Kenyatta University. Then from there, we'll now proceed to other venues, like we'll be in a nursery, in a farm, in a pack house, and also on an oil processing plant. So for the next question, that is the market for the Kenyan avocados, especially the current ban from the European market. As we may also have seen in the media and also the magazines, that our CEO has been with the Kakuzi as an exporter and trying to see how best to solve this this ban, because it does not just affect Kakuzi, but it affects the Kenyan avocado as a whole. So we are really behind their backs and trying to see how best we can be able to solve this problem, which cuts across, not just for Kakuzi alone. Yeah, so as our members, we are trying to help them see how these case can be solved amicably. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Maybe to just wind up, there's a question from Peter, who first says that he has a 3-year-old orchard and there's a farmer group in the area. They want to start an avocado nursery and an avocado academy. So could you maybe contact them to start to come and train them, to go and train them in their area, which is in Gatundu North. I think we are going to share with you the contact of Peter Kibe, who you can then link up to for the training, and also just to guide them on setting up of the nursery together with the academy. Then to wind up, maybe our panelists, that is Jen, Dr. Were, and Rachel, maybe you can tell us what exactly can we take home today, just as we wind up this evening. Karibu, Daktari.
All right, thank you very much, Teresa. To wind up today, I can say take home is farmers need to be able to understand the different maturity indices at harvesting. They should not be coerced to harvest the avocado for the purposes of just the volumes, but then they should look ahead and understand that if they just harvest for purposes of volumes, their market in future is getting curtailed. And also to be aware of different practices that they may undertake at harvesting that will impact on the fruit further ahead, and thereby it may end up causing reduction or of the shelf life or bruising of the avocado. Therefore, let us ensure we understand the different technologies. Let's not look at those expensive ones. There are some simple ones, just like the floating method, like, for example, cutting one of the avocado and looking at the seed and you see it has turned color and it's a dark brown. Those are basic systems that farmers can employ to ensure that the avocado is harvested at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Those are very important points, and I hope that all our farmers are listening in. And even if you will not listen in live today, the session will be available on the SOCAA website, so you can always go there and listen to the webinar as presented. Jen?
Thanks, Nekesa. My take home today is that the avocado market is large and wide. It will be up to us, farmers, exporters, all stakeholders, to take care of this market for us. We have competition. Our East African neighbors are also looking at this same market. It is important for us to ensure that the product we put on the market is the best product that we have. And the beginning of this product is with the farmer. We have to make sure that we are growing the right variety. We are giving this crop the best means to survive any problems. Starting from nursery through to growing the crop through to harvesting. And then at harvesting is where now you will switch to, you will convert this product into money, which we all want. So at that point, let us not then make mistakes that we can prevent. Simple technologies like ensuring that this product has air moving around it. Do not heap it in one place, do not transport it heaped in a pickup. Use crates, they are there. I know, and I've said, some of these technologies may not be affordable for individual smallholder farmers. Get yourself into a group. There's strengths in numbers. You can approach, in fact, many financial people who give financial assistance will look at you better if you're in a group as opposed to if you're alone. So look for ways to mitigate your issues, but ensure that whatever you're doing to that crop and to that product gives it the best ammunition to tackle market, what it will face on the market. It is our product, it is our country, and there's a lot of it growing. Let us not go back to the days of you just put it in the ground and watch it growing. There's a lot of competition now. We need to move on with the times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane. That's a powerful statement that you've made. And Rachel, as we wind up, Karibu.
Okay, so my take-home information will be on the quality, as the other presenters just said, that it's quality that matters. So for everyone as farmers, we need to focus on the quality of our fruit, which will be dependent from the moment that we transplant that plant, the moment that we do the first feeding until the harvesting. So, and then the other information would be like the right information to market to the farmers, because most of the time we find that our farmers will get maybe a quarter or even half of the profits that is made from their own fruits, that is from the avocado. So it's important that the farmers get the right information to the markets. And lastly, the use of products, that is maybe whether the fertilizer, the pesticides, whatever the farmer is using, it's important that they get the right information on what to use so that their fruit will not be rejected due to the issues with the MRL. So the farmers need to know what to use, even if they have got these issues, the pests with the diseases, they should know what to use and when to use it. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists. That's Dr. Were, Jen Musindi, and Rachel Wambua for taking the time to actually share their experience and their expertise in this field of optimizing market access for Kenyan avocados. We hope that this session has really been, educative and useful to you, and that you're going to not just keep the information, but share it out with your networks so that they can be able to get to know more. And you're free to also contact SOCAA. You can visit their website at www.socaa.or.ke to just get more information, and we'll also link you up to the panelists who've been able to do the presentation today. The presentations will also be available on the website, just for those who want to download them later, so that you can at least get to read them later and share more information, or maybe there's something that you might have missed out. Would like to thank SOCAA for allowing us to have this webinar, and for SOCAA-SheTrades for facilitating the session. Thank you all and have a good evening.
As we leave, just in closing, we have a survey that has been going on, and we invite all our participants to just click on the link that is again on the chat box, and please take some time to just complete that survey. Thank you very much.
Thank you.